Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyperroll with Autarch. When I recorded this video, I did not know what the state of this build was going to be come patch day. Then, when I saw the pre-patch notes by glancing into the PBE, I found out that Guardians actually appear to be getting a buff. So as I'm recording this voiceover, I expect this build to be even stronger than it was. Now, this particular match is done without using the 4 and 5 cost rapid fires, so hopefully it can help you get through this. So I can't say I had a definitive idea of what I was doing when I went into this part. I just knew that I wasn't thrilled with any of these. I already had 2 bows. Exposed weakness is interesting, but I personally have not had much luck with executioners. Then I got 2 healthy, which is your team gains 110 health for each unique 2-cost champion on your board. And I felt that could be an interesting augment for either Sentinel Big Shot or Rapid Fire Guardian. So we start picking up some of the elements of Sentinel Big Shot until Jinx. Now, if you think of the general concept of the build, it is tanky frontline, strong backline. There are a lot of 2 costs involved in this backline: Aphelios, Senna. And then in the front line, you have Pantheon. So that's 3 unique 2 costs that are part of this build, so long as you don't go to Caitlyn and Lucian replacing Aphelios and Senna at the end. But then the question becomes, can that carry? Item-wise here, since we have 2 bows, we can go ahead and grab the Sparring Glove and make the last Whisperer on Jinx. And since the plan in my head is not to be using Caitlyn and Lucian at the end, I'm going to want to make this Jinx as strong as possible, as well as Aphelios and Senna. It is time for our second set of augments, and nothing super exciting here either, but once I see frequent flyer, I know I'm just going to take it, because to get those 1-cost rolls very often, that's going to be key. Now, something I'm doing different than I would normally do. Usually I go Guardians first, but this time I decide to go to the 4 Rapid Fire because 2 of them are 2 costs and I want to get the front line as much health as possible. It doesn't help against the 132 Spellweaver Annie teams, but it may help in the future. The real key to this build is going to be hopefully getting gold 3-star rapid fires in the back, because without that, they're not likely going to have the power to win, but the extra health is certainly helping right now. It is time for an item choice, and easy pick. Yep. Rod, meet bow, meet Jinx. It's the Rage Blade. And it may not seem like much, but that little bit of extra health definitely helps. It keeps everyone up just a little bit longer, and when you're dealing with rapid fire, they are stacking attack speed, Jinx even more so, and we get through a Spellweaver Annie. It is time for our final augment, and nothing here per se. Ascension, yet you know how I feel about that. It's going to be very hard to outdo it. Roll the others, just grab Ascension and go. And we used our champion duplicator to get us to the gold 3-star Jinx and continue to tank up a Mumu. I still find him to be the most effective tank of the tanks out there, and in the Guardian build, he's almost unbeatable. And while this NPC round gave us a lot of champions, it didn't give us much in the way of items, so we don't have a ton to put out there. We can go ahead and make a red buff. It is not my favorite item, especially when we have a Mumu out front with a Sunfire Cape. So we're going to go ahead and make the Giant Slayer on Jinx. I'd love to have more for Aphelios, since he is 1 away from being gold 3 stars. And while KDA Akali may be the enemy of this build, True Damage Akali just is not. She ends up just another frontliner who is pretty easy to chew through. And now we have a gold 3-star Aphelios, and so it's going to be time to itemize him. Best item out of that group was the Giant Slayer. I already have one on Jinx, so I didn't necessarily want one on Aphelios, but it's not going to hurt. And despite some early hiccups, we have been just cruising along in this match. Even the KDA Akali, likely because she is 1 star, doesn't present much of a problem, and once we hit that 15-second mark and everyone powers up, we are getting through people very quickly. It's time for an item choice, and I would love an Aphelios item, but we already have a Last Whisper on Jinx. I don't feel it'll help to have one on Aphelios as well, so we can go ahead and get the Steadfast Heart for a Mumu to really shore up that front line. And since, like most lobbies, this lobby is all Spellweaver Annie teams, we're going to have to get through another one of them. Luckily, a Mumu is strong enough to hold things up to the magic 15 seconds, and then our backline takes over, bringing us into the top 4. Item-wise, we can go ahead and get a Titan's Resolve for Aphelios. It's not the best item, but it will certainly do here, as we want to get as much as possible onto a gold 3-star Aphelios. And again, let's just talk about that little bit of extra health that the True Twos is giving us. It's not much, but with this type of build, it doesn't have to be a lot. That Karthus is doing a ton of damage, but notice, everyone just barely survives, and that gives us enough time to finish them off and win the fight. Final 2 item choices of the game. I often like to finish this off with a Poppy so I can tick Emo in a Mumu. This time they gave me an Emo emblem, and I had 2-starred an Alawi, so we end up with Emo Alawi. Then it's whatever our best backline item is for Aphelios. We'll go with Deathblade, chase it across the screen, 2-star our Yorick, and I feel we're pretty set. And again, I want you to keep in mind that 330 extra health that each member of this team has because of the augment we chose earlier. Everyone's going to hold up just a little bit longer than otherwise. We get to the 15-second mark, our ascension kicks in, but look how low Jinx is when she wins that fight. And lest you think I was being hyperbolic about all the Spellweaver Annie teams, yeah, that's all that's left. Spellweaver Annie teams. Annie, 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 Annie. That's what's left in this game. Just so often. The key for us is that our front line is very, very strong, has extra health, and we have 2 points of damage coming from the back in 2 gold 3-star rapid fires. So we're able to get a lot of damage. Once we hit that magic 15-second mark, we're able to chew through. 1 Annie is down. Now, we had an interesting story brewing as well, as we were just 2 Yoriks away from gold, but I wasn't going to take the team apart to try to get there because we had been winning so much, and we had gotten rid of the gold 3-star Annie, and I felt we would have an easier time with the 2-star silver Annie Spellweaver team. And that was correct, and it was GG for everyone. I know you're sick of hearing about it, but Rapid Fire Guardians really does work. Not only was it really strong in this patch and got all of my accounts to hyper, it's getting buffed really soon, so check it out. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.